What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's get a little spicy. So, there's a few things that I want to talk to you guys about as it pertains to Real Housewives of Miami, and I didn't feel like I could fit it all into my review, so I decided to do a standalone video. So, let's get into it. All right, y'all. So let's talk about the lawsuits. So it looks like Marysol and Todd are threatening lawsuits against some people. All right. So first up, let's get into Marysol. So she posted this in her Insta story Friday, the day after the second episode for last week aired, which it aired on Thursday, and that was episode 11. And she put this in her Insta story. So many former classmates have reached out from my boarding school in Palm Beach. Yes, I went to ninth and 10th grade in the early 80s at Rosiana Academy. From the 1950s through the 80s, it was an all girls and none boarding and day school. My prep school in question was Gallagher Preparatory. Lies will not be permitted and lawsuits are coming. Then the next part of her slide shows she also posted information about the school. So both schools. So the first one was the Rosiana Academy. It was in West Palm Beach, was still operating as a boarding school in the 1980s, although that was in the latter years of the tradition. It goes on to say the school had been founded in 1925 by Aryan Dominican sisters as a girls and day and boarding school, and a boarding remained an option for middle and high school students for decades. Then the second slide talks about Gallagher Prep, and it says Gallagher Prep, a top and among the most expensive prep schools in Miami. And it's a question. It says absolutely, Gallagher Preparatory School is consistently ranked among the top private schools in Miami and Florida. So it says nationally, it's 73 out of 3,880 schools for the best private K through 12 school in America. Okay, so basically, the reason why Marysol was threatening lawsuits was because of Anna. Okay. If you remember who Anna or you don't remember who Anna is, Anna was on season 2 of Real Housewives of Miami. She was really good friends with Marysol and Alexia, and then they had like a really bad falling out. Then last season, season 6, when Nicole had her Mamacita's party, the girls found out that Anna was coming, and Alexia and Marysol was acting like they didn't want to be there because she was there. But then they ended up coming to the show, and then Anna tried to act like she caused the ratings to go up, even though she said nothing to the two of them. But Anna has a podcast that I think she does with her daughter. But honestly, on that podcast, most of the time when Real Housewives of Miami is brought up, she's just talking very poorly or dog walking Alexia and Marysol and sometimes Larsa on her podcast. And I'll say allegedly because I haven't heard it for myself. Basically, there were a lot of people on Twitter and on Instagram saying that Anna alleged on her podcast that Marysol was lying about her schooling, about her education, and that is why Marysol came out with that information about the two schools. I think Anna was saying that allegedly that the school that she was referencing, the one about the nuns, didn't exist anymore and it wasn't a school for boarding. But then you have Marysol coming out and showing that yes, there was boarding at that school, and it happened later in the 80s. I will say this, I think it is incredibly weird for people who say or claim that they hate somebody to constantly talk about them when they are not referenced by the other party. I understand that Anna and Alexia and Marysol used to be real cool, but they are not anymore. But I do find it weird that she takes her time to speak about them so poorly and negatively when it's like, girl, you have the opportunity to talk about something else. And what it gives to me is that you're slightly bitter that you're not on the show, that they didn't ask you back for the rebooted season, as well as, girl, you still want to be around them. Because if I don't like you, I don't talk about you. And I'm not going that far to be like, oh, she's lying about her education. You know you have to go look up that information? And why did you feel so inclined to do that, Anna? It gives obsessed. And I know people love to hear negative things about people that they don't like. A lot of people don't like Alexia or Marysol, but if y'all would really step back and look at it, it is kind of weird for someone who claims that they don't like somebody to do that much investigating into their lives to prove that the school that they mentioned on the show, just in like an offhanded comment, wasn't real. And it come to find out the school was real. That doesn't make any sense. So let's move over to the other supposed lawsuit that's coming. So shouts out to She Speaking with Emily Hanks, because this is the only way that I found this information, because I don't follow Todd. But he posted a 10-minute video, which I'm not playing in this video. If you want to go check it out on Todd's page, his name is Life According to Todd. He posted it on his Instagram. And basically, he is threatening a lawsuit, I guess, against Bravo, or more specifically, the production company that does Real Housewives of Miami. So I'll just read what he posted on his Instagram, and it says this: Dear RHOM producers, I tried to stay silent. I truly did. I believe that by stepping back, I was taking the high road, letting you tell your story, even when it was wildly false and deeply manipulative. But enough is enough. Your lies, bullying, and behind the scene extortion tactics have gone too far. For years, I allowed you to paint a fictional version of me because I loved my wife and I didn't want to get involved in your circus. I thought staying quiet would protect my peace, but you've crossed the line. Call me names, twist the truth, suggest whatever you want about my character. But the second you dare portray me as someone who doesn't care about my stepson, a young man living with a brain injury, you revealed who you really are. This season, it's obvious. Your entire storyline revolves around attacking me and one woman, a cancer survivor, no less. You've allowed gang style power-ons, physical violence, gaslighting, microaggressions, and racially charged comments to go unchecked. You've enabled cruelty, encouraged hate, and turned mean spirited into entertainment. This is what you promote. This is your brand. And if this is what you're proudly do for a living, I hope your families are proud. But here's the truth: you can't edit it out. RHOM has the lowest ratings of any Housewives franchise ever, one of the lowest performing shows on all of Bravo. I now understand that if I don't stand up for myself, you'll never stop. You'll keep running with these lies for as long as you have platformed. While I hope this would fade, I can quietly return to my private life. It's clear I have to end the story myself. So let me be clear. I will not only challenge these lies, I guarantee I will silence them once and for all. So that is what Todd posted on his Instagram. Again, if you want to watch the video, the 10-minute video, it's still on his Instagram. Now, I want to get into this article that Reality Blurb wrote up about this situation, because it gives more context, as well as they share other things that I didn't know were out there. But if you would like to read this article, the link will be in the description box below. Okay, so let's get into it. It says Alexia Nepola's ex-husband, Todd Nepola, went on a lengthy rant against Real Housewives of Miami producers in a video shared to his Instagram page on Friday, on the heels of Alexia 58 declaring that they hadn't spoken for a month and a half and suggesting she is happy to be free. Todd 52 took an aim at producers, accusing Bravo of slander and defamation as he spoke of an impending court battle and revealed what pushed him over the edge when it came to his portrayal on the show. Enough is enough, Todd wrote in the caption of his August 15th post on Instagram. Your lies, bullying, and behind the scenes extortion tactics have gone too far. According to Todd, he tried to take the high road despite wildly false and deeply manipulative claims that crossed the line. In addition to slamming producers for focusing their seventh season on the attacks aimed at Gertie Abria, 47, who he noted was a cancer survivor, Todd said his character was targeted with accusations of not caring about Alexia's youngest son, Frankie, who suffered from a brain injury stemming from a car crash he was involved in years ago. This, he explained, hit a nerve. You've allowed gang style power-ons, physical violence, gaslighting, microaggressions, and racially charged comments to go unchecked. He continued, you've enabled cruelty, encouraged hate, and turned mean spiritedness into entertainment. He also slammed Bravo's brand and took an aim at the ratings. In his accompanying video, Todd declared the biggest mistake I've made in my adult life was agreeing to participate in the Real Housewives of Miami. I was not one who really wanted to give up my privacy and become a reality star. That was never for me, and I certainly never enjoyed filming, and I'm sure that's obvious to anyone who ever watched the show. But the final straw and the breaking point came when lies started to be told, he explained. One major issue Todd had with production was the sharing of Adriana, suggesting that he was struggling financially and couldn't pay rent. It was a real blow to me, and I couldn't believe people would make these kinds of lies up. I was very mad at her lying on TV, and I was madder at Alexia for getting involved in this mess. But I was the most mad at producers who knew the story wasn't true, he went on. At the time Adriana claim was made, Todd was not only struggling, but he had just bought a $24 million shopping center. I realized I couldn't live in this world anymore, and the woman I love couldn't live without it. So I had to make a decision to leave, he stated. While Todd was led to believe that if he continued to participate in the show, he'd receive an apology from Adriana, none came. Instead, producers dealt him with additional slander and defamation of character as his relationship with Frankie was criticized. There's not a person on this earth that's done as much for him other than his parents than me, Todd insisted, sharing that he spent time with Frankie and provided for him by putting a roof over his head and designer clothes on his back. Todd also spoke of a once strained relationship with Alexia's older son, Peter, saying they made amends and they assured Peter he always be there for him. While Todd noted Peter was also used by producers, he suspected he only agreed to paint a false picture of him for the paycheck. As the clip continued, Todd said he was heartbroken that Alexia didn't warn him and that she allowed this to happen, as he confirmed they reconciled in January and were doing great for months. As the video came to an end, Todd told producers he was taking their asses to court. You've gonna have a courtroom to perform in, and you're not going to have to convince the public. You're gonna have to convince a real judge and a real jury if you had the right to use me on TV and lie about me on TV when you knew it was a lie, he stated. And I'm gonna win a lot of money, and when I do, I'm gonna give it to the groups that work with people that are bullied, cyberbullied, bullied in person, attacked online, and by people like you who hide in the rooms and destroy lives. The article continues with this by saying Todd post comes just days after Alexia revealed she cut off communication with him during an August 13th interview with Access Hollywood Housewives Nightcap. We're not talking. It was my decision to go no contact, zero contact. I really do believe in it. So far, it's working. It's been like over 45 days. It's been great, and it's the only way, Alexia shared. According to Alexia, she hopes to be an inspiration to other women who've seen her and Todd's relationship play out on RHOM. It goes on to say, if I can turn my pain into purpose or continue to be inspiring in any way, maybe that's not what I wanted my story to be. He literally handed me my story. As you can see, I didn't really want to share it. I was really protective, like I said, but I had to do what was best for me. I had no other option. I gave everything I could, she noted. Alexia was even going to leave RHOM. I was even going to quit the show for him. So it's been a journey. I've learned a lot about myself. And right now, I'm just focusing on my kids and just my family and myself. I have peace. I'm happy. I feel free. I'm just excited about the next chapter, whatever it may be, she concluded. And that was the end of the article. Again, the article is linked in the description box below. So here's the thing. I don't think Todd is going to get anything out of this. And I also don't know if Todd's actually going to go forward with suing producers. The reason why I say that is Todd signed a contract the same way Alexia signed a contract. And I'm more than likely sure he signed his likeness away in that contract. And now he's mad. He's talking about his portrayal on the show. My thing about it is, it's always weird to me when people are okay when they're doing good on the show, but the moment that they have a bad season or they feel like they've been negatively shown, all of a sudden the producers are the devil, the show is horrible. When it's like, no, you can't handle the backlash of people not agreeing or liking the way that you're moving. I also feel like this has nothing to do with Frankie, because if it was really about Frankie and how they portrayed you, in the sense of how you took care of him or how you treated him, you would have came out with this information and well within the first couple of episodes of this season, because that's when they really focused on you moving out in front of Frankie. And you have come out more than like twice to basically talk shit about Alexia and Stephanie. But now all of a sudden it's about your character and defamation. I feel as though he's trying to capitalize off the backlash that Alexia, Marysol, Larsa, Kiki, and Julia have been receiving as it pertains to the way that they have been treating Gertie. I don't really think this has anything to do with justice. And I see a lot of people going up for him, and that is your right. But it's that statement in that video didn't move me, because I feel like if you are really mad about Adriana and you feel like she lied upon you, why aren't you suing her? Why is the anger not at towards her or towards Alexia, the person you feel like chose fame and the show over being with you? And the reason why I also say that I feel like it's pandering and he's trying to pander to black fans is because I was fine with him with that one little excerpt about Gertie and about the way that they're treating her, because we all have noticed the racial undertones. People have noticed the microaggressions and the women not really being there for Gertie in the way that they should be, or the way that we think they should be. Okay. But if he would have just left it to that statement, I was fine. Now I see a bunch of black people in his comments patting him on the back for what he said. Then I also see him on blog pages and he is, having conversations with specifically black people, and then on his own page liking derogatory comments about the other women. So is it really about justice, and trying to right the wrongs of them defaming your name, or is this just your way of trying to punish your ex for actually moving on away from you and really enjoying her life without you in it? Because to me, if I was Alexia, I wouldn't give up Real Housewives of Miami for Todd, especially if what Alexia said was true about everything of his being rented. Like, people can use Real Housewives or any reality show to set themselves up financially. And we know Alexia needs this check in order to take care of herself, Frankie, and probably sometimes Peter. And if Todd wasn't really doing all of that, because that statement about like, I put clothes on his back, okay, you should do that if he's your stepson and living in your house. You want a pat on the back for being a father? Like, yeah, it's not translating for me. It's just not. But I understand people don't like and actually hate Marysol, Alexia, Larsa, Kiki, and Julia, and they're happy when anybody dunks on them. But for me, I try to look at things from two different sides and two different angles. And when I saw the video, I just wasn't moved the way a lot of people were, because to me, it felt like pandering. And it also felt like he's just punishing her, because the timing is very calculated to me. But you probably have a different opinion, so leave it down in the comments below. So moving on, let's talk about Lisa. And I just want to get into this one tweet. And she said this: so let me get this straight. Larsa can say whatever she wants to my boyfriend, spread rumors about him, lie about him, call him, text him, and but he can't text her because she's a woman. He just said, please stop. Hashtag RHOM. Since when did she become feminist and so frail? So the reason why I wanted to bring up this tweet from Lisa is because it makes me feel like what Larsa said at Marysol's party, her wedding party, where she was like, Jody yelled at her and Lisa when they were in Milan. It makes me feel like it's true. And the reason why I say that is if he feels so comfortable to call and text Larsa, I feel like Jody would feel comfortable yelling at Larsa and Lisa, especially with the way that Lisa behaves. To me, Lisa behaves like a teenager when she's around Jody, because them being in the confessional felt like he was a dad and she was a daughter to me. Like, I think Jody views Lisa as like a little lamb that needs to be protected by the wolves, one of the wolves being Larsa. So I do believe he would feel comfortable calling her and yelling at her, or sending her disrespectful text messages, or just blatantly yelling at her. I do. Okay. Now, do I feel like Larsa is wrong? Yes, with the way that she speaks to Lisa, but I also get her frustrations with Lisa, and I also get why Lisa's not unfollowing Marcus. But I expound upon that more in my review, so check that out. So, lastly, let's talk about the after show. Now, I don't have the clips, but there were two things I wanted to talk about. First was Marysol and Alexia talking about their friendship, and Stephanie made some comments in the episode where she says that Marysol acts differently when she's not around Alexia. And we have Adriana and Stephanie on the after show chiming in saying the same thing. They do kind of act differently, like they don't have that fire in each other when they're not around one another. It's more so like they're kind of demure and more docile. But I think everybody acts differently when they're around their best friend and they feel comfortable to be themselves because they know they have someone that has their back. But I thought it was interesting that Marisol said she told Alexia and they actually talked about it. And she was really trying to evaluate whether or not she does act differently when Alexia isn't around or is around. And I thought that was interesting that she actually thought about it instead of just being like, you know what, y'all are crazy and full of it. That she tried to reflect and see if there was a point to what they were trying to say. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was Lisa and Larsa and the whole unfollowing thing. It seems like all of the ladies, including Gertie and Adriana, agreed that she should not be following Marcus. But Lisa feels like Larsa can't tell me what to do. Adriana even said, like, I understand that like no one likes to be told what to do. I thought it was funny that Alexia was like, I don't follow none of the men that my friends are in a relationship with. And I really thought about it. And honestly, y'all, I only follow one of my friends' husbands and one of my friends' boyfriends. And that's only because I knew the boyfriend and the husband before I knew them. That's it. Anybody else that I am friends with that is married or has a boyfriend, I do not follow their significant other. Okay. Because at the end of the day, like if she chooses to divorce or they break up, I'm going with my friend. I'm going with the girl. So at the end of the day, I understand why Lisa is not unfollowing Marcus because she wants to stick it to Larsa, but it also begs to question, like, girl, did you ever really see that girl as a friend? Like, did you ever? Because it's no brainer to me. Y'all break up, we not friends no more. I came into this relationship with her. I'm leaving with her. And even for my friends that I followed the husband and the boyfriend before, I've gotten so close to the wife and the girlfriend that, yeah, I'm probably going to go with her if they divorce or if they break up. It's just that simple. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.